How's your study going on? I hope you are doing well. Now, students, tell me what we have learned in the previous session. In the previous session, we only revised the lesson number 1. Which lesson? That is crop production and management. So, students, what we have revised in the session 1 or what we have learned in the session 1. See over here. What we have learned? We revised the term agriculture. What is agriculture and what is the role of agriculture? Then horticulture. What is the exact meaning of horticulture and what do you mean by the crop? There are different types of crop, namely kharif crop and rabi crop. So the definition of kharif crop, rabi crop and how they are different from each others and the examples of kharif and rabi crops. So afterwards we have revised that the next topic, that is how we can improve the agricultural produce product which we get from the agriculture, how we can improve that, how we get the better yield or large amount of yield and the healthy crop. So this we have already revised. Also we have revised the next topic, that is the preparation of soil, how the soil is prepared, why there is necessity of preparation of soil. So and some of the agricultural tools. The tools means hoe, harrow, plug, how the plugging is occur, what is the structure of plug. These all the things we have revised in the session 1 and also at the last we also revise sowing of seeds. After the preparation of soil, how the seeds are sowing, which instrument is used for sowing, that means the seed drill. So this is all about what we have revised in the previous session. Okay students? Have you remembered that what we have revised? Okay. So students, now in today's session, that means in the second session, now we are further proceed for the next topics of this lesson number 1. So we have revised that the preparation of soil is necessary for any kind of plant or the crop for giving a better yield. Also, the sowing of seeds is also most important things. So, after sowing, first what you have do? First you have do for soil is prepared. Okay. Afterwards, after the soil is prepared, then you can add the seeds on that. Okay. So sowing process is then. Afterwards, then the manuring process is occurs. Whenever you sow the seeds, at that time, after the sowing procedure, there occurs the process which is known as manuring. So students, what do you mean by the manuring? See students, here it is the picture. First, see over here. It is the picture where one person is adding fertilizer or the manure to that crop. Actually, this is not the proper method to add these fertilizers, but see how it is adding. Okay students, now before going to start this topic, I would like to tell you that students, please look at your book and see one by one. Okay students, means simultaneously you have to see at your book also and here also. So students, what is manuring? See, you have already studied that plants require essential nutrients for their growth and the nutrients are obtained, these nutrients are obtained from the soil. So students, we have already studied over here that for the growth of any kind of plant or any kind of crop, there requires certain nutrients. Okay, just like we require nutrients, that means vitamins, minerals, calcium. So just like that, plants also require certain nutrients for the proper growth and development. So how these plant get these nutrients, students? So these nutrients get to the plants by the soil. From the soil they get the nutrients. So every crop utilizes specific nutrients. Means each and every crop has special necessities or the requirements for the utilization of nutrients. Means suppose one plant require nitrogen and calcium, another plant requires certain minerals. Means every plant have the different requirements. Every plant have their own requirements. So every crop utilizes certain specific nutrients for its growth. Therefore, whenever the continuous growth of same crop, if we plant any plant, suppose here we take the example of rice. If we take the crop of rice in the field for many times continuously, so what will happen, students? At that field or at that soil, the nutrients which are required for the rice crop, that nutrients will be absorbed or taken up by that rice crop. Okay, so after the harvesting of that crop, then that field again does not contain these nutrients, as these nutrients are absorbed by the first set of plants. Okay, so in the same field, whenever we grow same kind of plant, at that time each and every plant can take that nutrients, so that soil become the nutrient deficient. Means the nutrient present in that soil get vanish, or they becomes removed from that, because they are utilized by the plants or that crop. So crop needs nutrients like phosphorus, calcium, nitrogen, etc. for their growth, and they pick up these kind of nutrients from the soil. So students, fertilizers, there are I think you have know that the name of fertilizers, or you have already hear about the word fertilizer in case of ads on your television. There are also the certain ad regarding the fertilizers, which fertilizers are used or not. So students, what are these fertilizers and what is actually a manure? Manuring, what is the process of manuring? So students, fertilizers provide many nutrients to the soil. Means if soil contains certain nutrients, and if that nutrients are taken up by the crop which is growing on there, afterwards, after growing that plant, the soil is deficient with that nutrients. So what we have to do, we add what we have to do, we add the nutrients in the soil. Okay students, here I give you one example. If in your body, suppose you require the vitamins and calcium, what you will do? You will go to the doctor, then doctor will say that your body requires calcium and vitamins. So what you will do, students? You will take the tablets of vitamins and calcium orally. Okay, so if your food which you eat, that makes the vitamins and calcium which are required for your body, but if your body is deficient in such kind of vitamins and calcium. So then you take that vitamins and calcium in the form of tablet externally. Okay, just like this, in case of soil, whenever suppose this area possesses certain nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, and the crop which is grown over here can take up these all the nutrients. So after that crop, we again sow this crop after some season. Then that crop again require these nutrients, but these nutrients are taken up by the first set of crop. So how they get these nutrients? So students, these nutrients they get by adding the fertilizers over it. By adding the fertilizers to the soil, and which will help to obtain the better yield of that crop. So, depending upon the soil, what kind of soil is there, crops can be grown. Okay, crops to be grown. Depending upon the soil and the crops to be grown, we use different fertilizers. Means, suppose one crop required the nitrogen, another crop required the phosphorus. So, as per the requirement of crop, we add the fertilizers in that soil. So students, the process of adding fertilizers to the soil is called manuring. The process of, see over here, the process of adding fertilizers. See in your textbook you have to underline this. The process of adding fertilizers to the soil is called manuring. Do students make underline to this sentence right now in your textbook? Okay, have you underlined it? So students, this is the definition. Again I repeat, what is exactly meaning of manuring, or what is the process of manuring? See, the process of adding fertilizers to the soil. Whenever any fertilizer is added into the soil, at that time that process is known as manuring. Okay students, got it? What is manuring? Now here comes a term, that is fertilizer. What do you mean by the fertilizer? What exactly these are? Okay students, so see over here, chemical fertilizer. A chemical fertilizer is usually rich in specific mineral content. Most different fertilizer have the different content in that. Okay students, some fertilizers contain the phosphorus, some fertilizer contains the potassium, some fertilizer contains the calcium and any other. So different fertilizer have the different mineral contents. So students, most fertilizer contains the nitrogen in it, because nitrogen is the basic requirement of any kind of crop. Nitrogen is the basic requirement of any kind of crop. So most of the fertilizers contains the nitrogen as a fertilizers and are given in 2 to 3 doses. Here this nitrogen is given in 2 to 3 doses in the form of fertilizers. Now the other fertilizers are phosphatic and the complex fertilizers. Some fertilizer contains the phosphorus, so they are the phosphatic fertilizers, okay, and others. So these fertilizers, complex fertilizers are there. So some fertilizers are added to the soil before transplanting. Before transplanting or before sowing, I have already told you that in the previous session, before sowing these fertilizers or the manures are added over there, so that they can proper mix by plugging method. They can proper mix whenever the soil is tilled, that means loosening. At that time that minerals or the fertilizers get properly mixed into that soil. So students, an example of commonly used fertilizers are NPK. Have you ever seen the ad regarding this NPK? Students, have you ever seen? What do you mean by the capital N, capital P, capital K? Capital N stands for nitrogen, capital P stands for, see over here, capital P stands for phosphorus and capital K stands for potassium. So, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, these are the commonly used fertilizers. Means these are not the name of the fertilizer, students. See over here. These are not the name of the fertilizer. These are the content. These are the three mainly used content in the fertilizers. Means that fertilizer contains these three commonly which is required for the plants. Again students, I repeat, N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus and K stands for potassium. Okay students. Now as this process adding fertilizers to the soil, it's called manuring. As this process is known as manuring, so what do you mean by the manure? Process is manure, but here we have learned about the fertilizer, but what is actually a manure? Because here you also see that fertilizer and green manuring in that picture. See over here student. So what is that? What is that manuring or what is this manure? See students, see over here. What is manure? See, manure is an organic substance. Manure is an organic substance which is obtained from plant or animal wastes. Again, manure, it is organic substance. See students, organic and inorganic. The basic difference between the organic and inorganic. Organic means which contains carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, means which is made from the organisms or living things. Okay, and inorganic means which is made from the non-living things, means certain gases are there, certain metals are there, non-metals are there. So manure is an organic substance which is obtained from plant or animal waste, which is obtained from, so the plant waste is there, animal waste is there. So whenever these plant waste and animal waste are going through certain reactions, at that time there we prepare the manure. At that time the manure is formed. So such as cow dung. Cow dung, it is the animal waste. Urine, it is also the animal waste, and the plant parts like the vegetables, fruit peels which are removed from the plant itself, and the night soil and similar other organic waste, these collectively called as manure. But this does not mean that the vegetables are known as manure. No students. Manure, it is the organic substance which obtained after certain process on the plant residues and the animal residues. Means, see students, see over here in this. These waste are dumped at open places. So, these animal and the plant waste are dumped at open places, students. You have the plant waste, you have the animal waste, cow dung, etc., urine. So what you have to do, you have to dump that animal waste as well as plant waste into the pit or in open place and allow to decompose it. So how the decomposition occurs over there? Suppose we have the plant residue, animal residues or animal remains that we take in pit. Okay students, we have certain pit and we add over there. After adding there, what will happen? These things get decomposed. Why this is why they get decomposed? Because in the soil there are certain microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, which act on that, and they get degrade that matter, they decompose that matter, and from that degradation, from that decomposition process, we get the new one fertilizer, which is known as manure, which is known as manure. Students, again I repeat, suppose you have the cow dung, urine, and the plant certain residues, vegetables and fruit peels, etc. So these you have to collect, make a pit, and in that pit you have to add these all and decompose that things for 6 to 7 days. Afterwards, what you will get, that you will get the decomposed matter. You will get the decomposed matter of that substances, which is known as manure. See students, in your textbook, these wastes are dumped at open places and allowed to decompose. Then the decomposition is helped by organisms like bacteria and fungi. So this decomposition occurs by the bacteria and fungi which are present. These are the microorganisms which are present in the soil, and after decomposition that matter, we used it as a manure. We use it as a manure. So manure is a natural fertilizer which is used by farmers. Okay students, what is manure? Manure is a natural fertilizer. Why it is natural fertilizers? Because we made it from the materials which we naturally occur. Cow dung, it is the naturally occur. The vegetables, the leaf of the plants, these are the naturally occurring materials, and that naturally occurring materials we decomposed over here, and after that we get the manure. So manure is a natural fertilizer which is used by the farmers. Again students, I repeat, what is manure? Manure is an organic substance and the natural fertilizer. It is a fertilizer, but it is natural fertilizers which is used by the farmers. Now, it is considered better than the chemical fertilizers. There is again difference is in between the chemical fertilizers and manures. What is the main difference over here? Manures we get from the natural method, or from organic substances, while the chemical fertilizers are made by using certain chemicals. These chemical fertilizers are made in the industries by using certain chemicals, so that they are known as chemical fertilizers. But if you want to use the fertilizers, there is recommended that manure fertilizer is better than that of the chemical fertilizers. So food crops grown by using manures are safer than the crops which are grown by using the chemical fertilizers. So if you use the manure, the crops which we get it is the healthy one. Okay students, so while chemical fertilizers are manufactured by the chemicals in factories. See over here students, last para. While chemical fertilizers are manufactured from chemicals in factories, and manure is made from the organic substances which contains nutrient in small quantities. Just I have told you that manures are the natural substances, while chemical fertilizers are made in the industry by using certain chemicals. Okay students, got it? What is manure, what is chemical fertilizer, and what do you mean by the process of manure? So you have to underline this line that I have underlined over here students. So you get the proper notes of this. You have to underline the manure is an organic substance obtained from the plant to waste. Now students, Here are the certain examples of manures. These are the examples, means the name of manures and how they are prepared. Okay students, see over here there are 3 examples of manures. The first one is the farmyard manure. The first one is the farmyard manure. So what is that manure? This manure is made by mixing a decomposed cattle dung, means the excreta, the cattle dung. It is decomposed, means the cattle dung, the urine, leftover fodder and the latter. These all the things are mixed into the pit, and after mixing that the decomposition process is over. Decomposition process is carried out over there, and from that decomposition process of that mixture we get the manure which is known as farmyard manure. Now the next one is the compost. Compost, it is also the manure because it is made from the vegetable and animal refuse collected from domestic waste, straw, weeds, etc. So from these organic substances, this compost is formed, which is also a kind of manure. The next one is the vermicompost. Vermi means worms. So what is worms? That means the earthworm. So vermicompost is the compost broken down by the earthworms. So whenever the compost is there, suppose there are certain organic materials which are decomposed by the earthworm itself, and after that decomposition the material which we get is the vermicompost. Okay students, so the question is arise that what is exactly difference between the manure and the fertilizers. We always use the manure is the fertilizer, but what is exact difference between them? See over here student, it is the table. Chemical fertilizers are, the name itself indicate that they are made by the chemicals in the industries. So it is an inorganic. It is an inorganic chemical compound, while the manure is a natural substance which is formed by the decomposition of animal and plant waste. The next one is the chemical fertilizer is prepared artificially. It is not the natural process students. So it is prepared artificially into the factories, while the manure is prepared naturally in the field. By the decomposition of natural substances, we get the manures. Now the third one is, it is poor in organic nutrients. So as these chemical fertilizers involve inorganic substances, so there are not organic substances or the organic nutrients present in that. So it is poor in organic nutrients, or it does not have the organic nutrients. Now manure, it is rich in organic matter because here we use the natural substances, that's why it is rich in organic matter. Now the fourth one is, it is rich in inorganic nutrients. Inorganic nutrients means, I have already told you that means suppose non-living things, means the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. So it is rich in the inorganic nutrients, while it is manure comparatively less rich in inorganic substances or nutrients because it possesses the natural material, plant residue, animal residue, so that the manure which we get after decomposition of that plant residue and animal residue is obviously organic one. It is not inorganic. Okay students, so it is the basic difference between the chemical fertilizer and the manure. Got it? Now students, there are certain natural methods. See over here. Besides the supply of nutrients artificially, means here for getting the better crop or for getting the crop nutrients. For getting crop nutrients, we add into the soil certain nutrients. Okay, so these nutrients are added artificially, means we can supply these nutrients from by adding into the soil. But there are also certain natural methods by which that soil can provide the nutrients to that plants or to that crop. Means instead of using chemical fertilizers or manures, we can improve our soil in such a way that that soil can provide these all nutrients instead of adding over there. Okay students, so besides the supply of nutrients artificially, there are certain natural methods as well that help in regaining the lost nutrients in the soil. Suppose in the soil there are certain nutrients which are used up by the other crops, and now that soil does not contain any kind of nutrients, but we have to regain that soil, regain this soil with the nutrients. How we can do? By using the natural methods. See over here. So students, there are three methods. There are three natural methods by which the soil can regain their nutrients. Soil again get their nutrients back. Why this is? See students. The first method, how this is? See, the first method is the natural method. The first method is the natural method, that is field fallowing. That is field fallowing. So what exactly the field fallowing? What do you mean by the field fallowing, students? See over here in your textbook. See. You must have heard that the wheat crop is planted during the month of November. Okay, all of you know that the wheat crop is planted during the month of November. As the wheat crop, it is grown in the winter season, as it is the Rabi crop. So it is planted during the month of November. Okay students, so and harvested in the March. So we get the wheat in case of summer. Okay students, so whenever the wheat crop is planted in the November and harvested in the March and April. Okay students, so whenever we harvest that crop wheat in March and April, then the rice crop is planted in the June, July. Rice crop, because it requires water lot of, so it is planted in the monsoon season. So rice crop is planted in the June, July and harvested in the October and November. Harvested in the October and November. Again students, I repeat, the wheat crop is planted during the November and it is harvested in the March and April, while the rice crop, it is planted in the June, July and harvested in the November and December. So students, the land lies fallow in between these two cereal crops. Means suppose we here plant wheat crop. In the field we here plant wheat crop, so that we plant wheat crop in the November. Now it will grow and grow and grow, and then we harvest it in the April and March month. So from April to June there is a distance. In that period, we cannot plant any kind of plant. We cannot plant any kind of crop. So this season is become, in that season, that field, that soil become fallow. Become fallow. So that after June, then we can, after May, then we can again plant the rice crop. So This helps in replenishing the lost nutrients naturally. So the land lies fallow in between these two seasons, so which will help in replenishing the lost nutrient naturally, because see students here, because during this free time the dead animals and dead plants and other organic matter get collected on the field, and this collected matter gets decomposed by the microorganism and thereby returning the nutrients. See students how this is. If you plant wheat crop in the November season and harvest in the March April, then rice crop in the June season. So from April May to June there is a gap. In that gap not any crop is planted over that field. So in that period on, the plant residues, the animal residues are there, some of the dead plants are there, dead animals are there, some of the organic matter is there. So that organic matter during this free time get decomposed by certain microorganism, and that soil again get the nutrients which are used by the wheat crop. Okay, which are used by the wheat crop. So again soil get these nutrients back. So this is known as field fallowing. Okay students, means you have to plant two different types of crop, not same type of crop. If you plant same type of crop, then the nutrients which are required for that crop get destroyed or get removed from that plant, because they are already used by that plant. Okay students, so this is all about the field fallowing. The next one is the crop rotation. So what is crop rotation? Some farmers use the land for sowing a leguminous crop in between these two seasons. See students, the leguminous crop, what are the leguminous crop? These leguminous crop are the examples of leguminous crop are wheat, groundnut, okay, pea. So these are the leguminous crop which does not take as long as the wheat or rice to grow. They require less time to grow. Okay students, leguminous plant require less time to grow as compared to the rice crop and the wheat crop. So we can use this idea over here. How? So by the time the farmer has to plant the cereal crops, that is rice, wheat, the leguminous crop grown is ready to be harvested. Means whenever we want to plant any crop like rice or the wheat, before planting this crop we have to plant the leguminous crop, because it is grown in very short time, so it does not require many more time for its growth. So we have to first plant this leguminous plant, and then afterwards these cereal crops, means the rice and wheat. So what is the benefit of it? Why we plant first leguminous crops, students? Because the leguminous crop, see over here student, leguminous crop includes pea, beans, pulses, grams. So they harbor the nitrogen fixing bacteria in the nodules of their roots. The leguminous plant possesses the root. See students, the root of this leguminous plant have certain nodules on that root. Okay, the root of this leguminous plant possesses certain nodules, and that nodules possesses the nitrogen fixing bacteria. Means that nitrogen fixing bacteria are present in that nodule which is on the root of that leguminous plant. Okay, so what will happen when you plant this leguminous crop? These bacteria convert free nitrogen, free atmospheric nitrogen into the usable forms. See students, any kind of plant require the nitrogen, but the atmospheric nitrogen, the nitrogen present in the air, atmosphere, it is not absorbable, it is not useful, means it is in the complex state. So plants cannot have that type of capacity to take that nitrogen directly. So for that purpose, the leguminous plant has these bacteria in their root nodule. So these bacteria help to that plant to convert that atmospheric nitrogen into the usable form of nitrogen, and that after conversion of that nitrogen, the usable form of nitrogen is mixed into the soil, and then that plant get the nutrient, that is nitrogen, in this way. So if we plant these leguminous plant before planting rice and wheat, what will happen? That if that plant is planted, the nitrogen fixing bacteria which are present in the root nodule of that root of leguminous plant can convert that atmospheric nitrogen into the usable form. So after that, whenever we harvest that crop, leguminous crop, then that soil contains the nitrogen. That means that soil easily contains that fertilizer over that, and after getting this fertilizer into the soil, then we can plant rice or wheat, so that rice or wheat crop again get these nutrients easily. Okay students, so you have to remember that. See over here, the process of growing, you have to underline it. See students, the process of growing a different crop, preferably leguminous crop, process of growing different crop, but here we preferred main leguminous crop in between the raising of two similar crop, means we have to grow wheat crop and rice crop, but there is a gap in between these two. So in that gap we can plant this leguminous crop, so that the process of growing a different crop, preferably a leguminous crop, in between raising of two similar crop is called rotation of crop. Means we have to rotate. This crop is grown, then afterwards second another crop we have to grow. Means the rotation of crop is there. Okay, again I repeat, what do you mean by the rotation of crop? See students, the process of growing a different crop, preferably a leguminous crop, in between raising of two similar crop is called rotation of crops. Okay students, so the crop rotation has lot of benefits. Means if we done the crop rotation, what we will get the benefit, that firstly land get utilized, then secondly soil is not continuously depleted by the particular nutrients, and third one, this way the next crop gives the better yield. That means the the next crop get that nutrients properly, and that next crop gives the better yield. So these are the three main benefits of the crop rotation. See over here, these are the three plants which grown in the whole year in various seasons. See. Now the next one method is the multiple cropping, students. The next one method is the multiple cropping. So what is multiple cropping, students? Students, it is little bit blur, so you please see in your textbook. Growing two or more crops together in the same field is called multiple cropping. Multiple means many, cropping means to crop or to plant. Okay, so growing two or more crops togetherly in the same field. Field is same, but we have to grow two or more crops in that field. Okay students, so growing of two or more crops togetherly in the same field is called multiple cropping. So by multiple cropping also soil gets the nutrients. So soil get replenished with the nutrients. So students, see over here, the crops are chosen such that product and waste material from one crop help in the growth of other. Means suppose we plant any kind of plant and we get the product from that plant, that product is utilized as a raw material for the next plant. So we have to select such kind of plants, okay students, in the multiple cropping. So in fact, multiple cropping is the best solution for country with food problem. If any country have the food problem at that time, the multiple cropping method, it is the solution for that. Why it is solution for that? Because the same piece of land is used to grow different kind of crops. Same piece of land is usually used for the different kind of crops. In the case of in the case of food problems. Okay students, this is all about the natural method. There are three natural methods: field fallowing, crop rotation and multiple cropping, by which the soil can get their nutrients back. That means the replenishing of soil or replenishing of nutrients in the soil takes place. Now all of you know that the manure, means the fertilizers or the nutrients, are required for the proper growth of the plants. Okay, just like nutrients, which other things plants require for their proper growth? Think student, which other thing require the plant for their growth? Which other thing? Yes students, think about it. Which is the other thing required for the plant for their plant growth? The most important is the water. Okay students, if you water any kind of plant, then and then that plant will grow. So the next topic of this lesson is the irrigation. Okay, the next topic of this lesson is the irrigation. Now students, this irrigation, what do you mean by the irrigation? See students, in your textbook, plants needs water for their growth and preparation of food. Okay students, plants really need the water for the growth and for preparation of food. So it is necessary to supply the water into the field periodically, which is known as irrigation. Again students, see over here, what is irrigation? It is necessary to supply the water to plants in the field periodically is known as irrigation. So irrigation is necessary for proper development of plants. Irrigation is essential during the seedlings, flowerings and grain filling stages of the crop. So there are certain stages of the crop, and during that stages, during the growth of crop, there requires the water for the proper growth of that crop. So that water is provided to the crop with the help of irrigation. So what is exactly irrigation? See students, the major sources of water in the field is rainfall. All of you know that rainfall is the main source for the water for any kind of field. So since timing and amount of rainfall also influences because in some area rainfall is not proper, in some area there is amount of rainfall, so there is the fluctuation in the falling of rain. So if there is not rainfall in any area, so how this field get the water? Okay students, so this field get the water by the alternative source known as irrigation. It is the alternative source. So what are the sources of irrigation students? The sources of irrigation are river, water reservoir, lakes, ponds, wells, tuber wells, means from the river we get the water, some of the water reservoirs, lakes, ponds, wells. So we get the water and we can provide that water to any kind of crops. So water from these sources is either pumped. So if these sources are near to the field, then how we can provide that water from that source to the field? So we can pump out, means by using certain motors and pipelines we can pump out that water from that source towards the field. Okay students, so there are some other important modern methods. By this method we can also provide water to each and every crop in the field, students. So these are the modern methods. Which are these? There are two modern methods of irrigation: sprinkler system and the deep irrigation system, means sprinkler irrigation and drip irrigation. So what is sprinkler irrigation? This method is useful in water scarce areas. Suppose there is the desert area or there is uneven rainfall in area, at that time this sprinkler irrigation is used. So what is this sprinkler system? It consists of a main pipe and to which the many pipes are attached. One single main pipe, and that single main pipe have the other many pipes are attached in the series, so that the water flows through the top of the main pipe with the help of pump. With the help of pump, that water is pumped out in the main pipe, and through that main pipe that water flows, and that water enters into that, from main pipe that water enters into the attached pipes, okay, and comes out in the form of sprinklers through the nozzles. There are certain nozzles, and through that nozzles it comes out in the form of sprinkler. How this is so? See students, over here, this is the water, this is the main pipeline, and to that main pipeline these are the other small pipelines are there which are attached over there, and from that nozzles there is the water which is supply. So what is the benefit of this method, students? By this sprinkling of water, each and every plant can get that water easily. Each and every plant, because that field is many more in area. So it is not possible to do the just like take a tube and give the water to that plant. So it is easy by this way. Okay students, so this is about the sprinkler system. Now the next one is the drip system. So what is drip system? This technique is used for watering the fruit plants, garden and trees. Suppose there are certain gardens, fruit plants are there, some of the small trees, small plants are there. So in that case, drip irrigation is used. So what is drip irrigation? See students, it contains, drip irrigation system consists of a water pump. A main water pump is there. A water pump is there, means a machine is there which is attached to the main pipe, and which further has the lateral pipes attached to it. It is also further pipes are there which are attached to it, and these lateral pipes have a small nozzles. That lateral pipe possesses so many small nozzles, so many holes which are located just near the root of the plant. Means at the base of the plant, this pipe is gone through that base of the plant, and the nozzles are in such a way that to that plant, so that from the nozzle each and every plant get water, means by drip. This each plant get water, and it comes out in the form of, each plant or each root get the water. So when water flows through the system, it falls drop by drop at the position of the root. So where this drip system is useful? This system is useful in the areas where the shortage of water. So at that time the drop by drop water is provided to the directly to that roots of the plants. Okay students, so see this figure. These are the pipe, and to to the root of that plant, there are the nozzles towards that pipe. And so that by that nozzles, the drop by drop water is provided to these plants. Okay students, so this is about the water provide, how we can provide water to any kind of crop, or if any area is more, in large amount of area is there, suppose at that time how we can use these, how we can provide water each and every plant. So this is the irrigation method, and irrigation method has two modern methods, that is known as sprinkler irrigation and the drip irrigation. I hope students you all get these topics, manuring and irrigation, very well. This is the revision students, but here I am not taking revision very fastly, because my aim is each and every student should know the basic principle and basic concept of these topics. Okay students, so that if any kind of multiple choice questions are there, if any kind of long answers are there, or answer in one sentence sentences are there, so you can write each and every question. Okay students, so I hope you all got this topic, these two topics deeply, as it is really big chapter, means it is the more or lengthy chapter. So in the third session I will cover the next topic, that is harvesting and preservation of agriculture product and animal husbandry. So students, if you any have the queries regarding this topic, feel free to ask me. Here it is my mail ID viicct@pratibhaintschool.org. So if you have the problems regarding this, or if you make a chart or any kind of notes, so what is homework to you students? You have to make a chart, just like irrigation. What is irrigation? There are two types of irrigation: sprinkle irrigation, drip irrigation. What occurs in the sprinkle irrigation, how it is different from that. You have to make a chart of chemical fertilizer and manure, what is the distinguish between them. So in this way you can prepare your own notes, and afterwards you can send it to me in this mail ID. Okay students, thank you.